Hello, my name is Yvonne Newbold, and I want to help by sharing some good and practical ideas to help your child cope with both anxiety and autism. Now, these ideas cover a range of topics, including the importance of looking after our own mental health as parents, communication, and also how to help if your child refuses to go to school. So let's get started. Anxiety in children is very distressing, not just for them, but also for the adults around them too. When an anxious child also has autism, they may find it even harder to tell you exactly how they're feeling and why, and that means that we often have to work out things for ourselves. The better we can try and understand, the more we'll be able to help them. But that does mean being able to try and see it from their point of view, keeping a very open mind and being alert and aware of even the little things that might not always be obvious. Always take your child's fears and anxieties very seriously. Even if we can't understand why they feel like they do, to them their anxieties are very real and very frightening. And it's not helpful to say things like, there's nothing to worry about, or everything will be okay. Because not only will they probably not believe us, they may also feel that there's no point in sharing their feelings with grown-ups, because we simply won't understand. Children with autism are less able to express their feelings and thoughts easily. And even if they seem to have fairly good communication skills, they may need more help with conversations than we realise. Using visuals with children on the spectrum can really help, even if they have got relatively good language skills, and particularly when they're very anxious. Many ASD children process information differently, and pictures or signing or symbols can really help them feel more comfortable about language and make it much easier for them to both talk and to listen. Sensory processing issues can affect our children and cause distress, confusion and anxiety all by themselves. Noise, lighting, smells, tastes, and even how clothing feels can make children with autism feel very unsafe, frightened and uncomfortable. Now, some of these sensory issues can be relatively easy to fix. For instance, a different brand of school trousers might not have that itchy label in the same place, or the seam might be somewhere different. Ear defender headphones can also cancel out a lot of stress-inducing noise, or just letting a child wear sunglasses on bright sunny days. These are all things that can make a significant difference. So if you can identify a sensory trigger and do something about it, it may help your child cope much better throughout their day. It's important to acknowledge to ourselves how much our child's anxiety is impacting on us too. We are our child's rock. We are who they run to when they need to feel safe. But if we're too caught up in feeling worried and frightened and helpless and sad because of their anxieties, they're going to pick up on all of that in us, and it might make them feel even worse. It's very easy for us as parents to accidentally feed our child's anxieties without even realising, and that's why self-care is essential. You need time to recharge your batteries and to find ways to build up your own emotional resilience. Learning mindfulness can help, even if we only manage to do it for 5 minutes or so every day. We will be looking at this and all the other things in these tips in much more detail when we've got the Anxiety Resources programme that we're currently putting together finished. Getting professional psychological help for our children's anxieties isn't always easy. Sometimes there are long waiting lists, or it might be that your child may be considered as not being significantly anxious enough to meet the criteria. And even if you are able to access services, sometimes the specialists who are assigned to your child might not have the experience and training in autism to be able to offer the appropriate help. Now, what that means is that sometimes we as parents have to trust our instincts and do the very best we can by ourselves to help our children. So what I'd suggest is read anything and everything you can find that might help, either online or in books. Find out as much as you possibly can, not just about anxiety generally, but also how it affects children with autism. And that's why I'm currently putting together the Anxiety Resources Programme, especially for people like us, autism parents. So please make sure you're on my mailing list so I can let you know when it's ready. Always trust your own instinct. A parent's instinct is seldom wrong. And also always remember that you are the best expert that there is about your child. And if someone else suggests something that you feel isn't right for your child, never be afraid of gently and politely challenging their ideas or asking them to think again. Both you and your child have more resources and deeper levels of resilience than either of you probably know. You can get through this and help your child through it too. Children can and do make full recoveries from anxiety. And although it might not happen overnight, and you may have to try dozens of different strategies until you do find one that works, please keep going, keep trying, because it will pay off in the end. Now, school can be a major source of anxiety for many children, with extreme distress before school every day, or even a complete refusal to go altogether. It can become very stressful for the whole family, and parents often feel duty-bound to do whatever they can to force their child into school, and then they can feel like they're failures if they really can't make their child attend at all. Now, some schools are fantastically supportive and very sensitive to children with school-based anxiety issues, and they may be able to come up with lots of ideas or suggestions that might help your child cope much better in school. It's great if you and the school can work together to find out exactly what aspects of school your child is finding the most upsetting, and then putting together a way forward that will work with your child. I would strongly suggest that you do whatever you can to keep the lines of communication open with school staff and to collaborate to support your child wherever possible. However, it's also useful to remember that schools do have a different agenda sometimes. They're very heavily scrutinised and they can be penalised if school attendance and punctuality rates are dropping. Now that means that sometimes it may feel that you're being pressured to ensure your child attends school regardless of their level of distress. Anxiety is a medical condition, it's not a behavioural issue. Your child is not being naughty, and nor are you being a difficult parent. Adults wouldn't be forcibly dragged into work if they were clearly expressing how distressing they're finding their work environment. And if we were to do the same to a child in any other situation apart from school, then that might be seen as a safeguarding issue. Sometimes parents have to stand our ground to protect our children, and it may be worth considering a visit to your GP to explain the situation and to ask them to sign your child off school on medical grounds for the time being. Even a short-term medical certificate can buy you those few days, just long enough to have some breathing space, perhaps to find out exactly what's happening and also to explore any other options that you might have. And remember that there are always other options, even if you can't think what they might be right now. And a child can always catch up any education they've missed. But sorting out any potential psychological damage is always going to be much harder to do. And a child who's unhappy and distressed at school won't be able to learn much anyway. If your child isn't going to school, you are not alone. There are thousands of children unable to face school all over the country, and there are support groups and forums online that may be able to help as well. Now, these ideas are intended to help with children's anxiety, but sometimes things can escalate and become much more concerning. If your child has made a suicide attempt, or you're worried that they might be at risk of doing so, please get immediate and urgent help right now. Take your child to your nearest accident and emergency department, and if you can't get them there easily yourself, please call 999 and ask for an ambulance. My name's Yvonne Newbold and I've been sharing 10 ideas on dealing with anxiety in children who have autism. I hope you found them helpful, and I'm currently creating a much more comprehensive programme for parents looking at autism and anxiety and what we can do to help our children. Now, if I have your email address, I'll let you know when it's ready. If I haven't already got it, please email me on yvonne@yvonnenewbold.com or message me through my Facebook page, which is called The Special Parents Handbook. It'd be great to hear from you very soon. Thank you.